Okay, so the first one is life is a journey, it's not a destination. Whatever you achieve in your life, you buy a house, you buy a car, whatever you accomplish in your life, it's not like, okay, now I've done this and we're done. No, it that's not how it works. Our entire life, you just have to, I mean, I'm not telling you that you have to keep achieving like something bigger and better. Bigger and better. That's not what I want to get at all. But I want to just tell you that don't just think about like ticking boxes. Basically, it is not about that. It's never about that. And if that's how you feel, like, oh, if I do this, I'm going to be happy. If I do that, I'm going to be successful. Whatever it might be, that's not how life works. Life is about so much more than ticking boxes. It's about being happy. It's about, yes, accomplishing what you want to, but knowing that whatever you have accomplished, you can also lose that. It's not forever. Okay, the next one is comparison is a thief of joy. Now this is pretty self-explanatory, and I think we've been hearing this like since we were children. Yes, I think sometimes our parents can tend to compare us, so it's kind of ingrained in us, like bachpan se hi ki you are compared to like the brightest child in the class or like the topper in the class. But I think a lot of people, at least nowadays, we teach younger kids, we teach ourselves, and we've tried to like explain to ourselves not to compare like yourself with anyone else. Don't think that just because this person has more money, they are happier in life, or because this person is more successful. Like, don't compare yourself to other people. We also sometimes tend to compare and say that, oh, this person like got married at a certain age and I am like older than them and I'm not married yet. Or even with like kids, for example, we all have our own timelines, and what you're good at, probably they are not good at. What they are good at, you're not good at. So don't compare yourself with anyone else. It's not worth it. We're all unique in our own way, and appreciate your uniqueness. Okay, the third one is appreciate like what you have in your life, because there are so many people who are not even as privileged as you are. You have so much more privilege than other people out there. If I talk about myself, I have a roof over my head, I live in my own house, I have my parents who are still alive and perfectly healthy. Like, I have so much more. I got a good education, I have a good job, that makes me a decent amount of money, where I'm not like living off of like basic wages. There are so many people with disabilities who are not as as fortunate as we are. Unfortunately, there are people who don't have a roof over their head. Like, we have so much more privilege than so many other people. Sorry, I'm trying to like take out my sunscreen as I like tell the point, but I'm so like worked up about it that sunscreen is not coming out. Okay, so yeah, so like I was saying, like, count your privileges, count your blessings. That will, like, it's basically gratitude, at the end of the day. Like, have gratitude in your heart, and thank God. If you're not an atheist and if you believe in God, then thank God for all the blessings that He has showered upon you, and pray for others who don't have it. That is truly the best thing we can do, is have gratitude and understand how privileged we are as compared to so many other people who are not as privileged as us. Okay, I'll talk about the fourth point as well, as I'm trying to blend my sunscreen. So the fourth point is, life is too short, you guys. I mean, I think in 2024 I've realized this more than ever, because I lost two very close family members to me, like in the past like 8 months of the year. And that is when I realized how short life is. I mean, it's not like I haven't lost family members before, I have, but I think this year it just hit me that life is so short. You don't know when you're going to lose someone that you love, so while you have them, make the most of it. Like, I can't stress and emphasize this enough. We lost one family member. I mean, I know this is a little personal, but we lost one family member within the span of a week. Like a week before, she was perfectly fine, and then a week later, we lost her. So, I think her death made me realize more how short life is. And then the other family member was struggling with cancer for years now. So, with him, we kind of knew it, but we still thought we had time. But then his health escalated a lot in a very like short span of time, and then we just knew that we were going to lose him any day. So yes, life is very short, and we should all realize that and make the most of it while we have it. Okay, we're gonna discuss the next couple of ones as I pour myself a cup of coffee. Not actually a cup, 2 cups of coffee. So, your school, college, like whatever you do, whatever stream you choose, doesn't decide your career trajectory. If you didn't do well in school, that does not make you a person who's going to be unsuccessful. If anything, I think in recent years we've realized that even if someone is a college dropout, they can be a billionaire or like the richest person in the world. Sorry, I had to just drink a sip of coffee. I didn't have anything since morning. So yeah, like I was saying, you don't have to excel in school or excel in college to be successful in life. Also, something I want to tell you from personal experience is whatever stream you choose, like whatever you study in college, like I did my BMS, and I'm not using every single thing that I learned in BMS in my job. I also did my master's in event management, and I decided to leave that stream completely and pursue what I'm doing right now and kind of like make my path in that world. So yes, you can do whatever you want in school, you can study whatever you want in college, but that doesn't mean that's the only thing you can do as your career. Sorry for that. The next one, moments are fleeting, so live in the moment. What I mean by that is, a lot of us, and I feel like I'm guilty of this as well, we spend so much of our time on the phone, or we're just in our own world and we don't know what we're doing. So when you're around people, like people who you love, it could be your parents, your family, relatives, friends, anyone, when you are spending time with someone, like quality time, live in the moment, because that moment is what is going to become a memory later on in the future. Like I spoke about earlier, how life is too short and you lose people that you like who mean so much to you and who you love, and when they leave you like forever, the moments that you spent with them in the past is what is going to remain in your memory, in your heart for the rest of your life. So if you're not actually present in those moments, you are going to have no connection, nothing to remember them by. So live in the moment and cherish those moments in the future when you don't have the person like physically with you anymore. The next one is a little bit correlated. The next one is a little bit more correlated to the earlier one that I spoke about, because I feel like the earlier point is inspired again by my own experiences. Sometimes I feel like I'm not as present when I'm with my friends. So that is why I feel like this point is very important, and that is valuing your friendships. So for me, I feel like the past decade or so, maybe I wasn't as I focused more on my career, my higher education, and I kind of felt like friendships are on autopilot. Like once you become someone's friend, you're their friend forever, and unless and until, of course, like nothing goes sour between you two in terms of your relationship, your friendship is always going to be there. Like it's not going to go away. But I feel like this year I realized, and even I think last year, I was trying to rekindle some of my friendships and get in touch with people who I was friends with or I'm still friends with. We just didn't speak as much or spend as much time together. We didn't go out for lunch or for like a catch-up session, and just how do I say, like, just spending quality time with your friends is so important. Like, go to a cafe or go to a restaurant for a meal and just spend time with them while you're like talking to them. And I think once you start doing this, you can eventually escalate it to like going out for shopping together or doing like activities together. Maybe you guys have something in common that is like a hobby, and you can do that together and have experiences together. And I feel like this year I have done that with so many of my friends, and I value that so much and I enjoy that. Okay, so I have the last half cup of coffee left, and while I do that, I'm going to talk about the last point, and then we'll move to doing a different activity. So when it comes to like managing your money, or not your money per se, but I would say your income, your total income, the first thing that you should prioritize is your needs. So keep money aside for your needs. The second thing you should focus on is your savings. This is basically keeping money aside, investing, etc., etc. The third thing that you can focus on from like a certain amount of residual income that you might have is wants. So nice things to have that you might want to spend your money on can be the third thing. And then the last chunk that you can keep aside for, like, if you feel like you have disposable income and you have spent it on all your wants and you still have money aside, you can probably put that towards like a luxury, like maybe designer stuff or like something aspirational that you would want to buy. Like, that should be the last thing. Don't use your savings for your wants or your savings and substitute that for luxury. This is like I'll insert like a photo probably on the screen of this is how I aspire to manage my income and the money that I make, and this is how I will allocate it towards the things that I feel like that's how the pyramid would be, and that's how I will decide where what needs to. Okay, so the next couple of lessons I'm going to talk about as I do my makeup and get ready for the filming day ahead. So the first one, amongst those of course, but I think we're at our 9th point, is it? Yes, we're at our 9th point, and this one is probably one of the biggest lessons which I have learned in the past 4 to 5 years, I would say, like 2019 onwards basically, is to like improve my my saving and improve my money habits in general. So for me personally, I've had, I wouldn't say like a shopping problem, but I've definitely been a shopaholic, and the past 2 or 3 years I think I've gotten better at it. And there are small periods of time when I might fall back to old ways, but then I recover from it pretty quickly because I kind of have like a financial tracker, budget and stuff in place. Like, I know how much money I'm going to make, I know what is a decent percentage which I could be spending, and then how much needs to be saved, how much goes into like my SIPs, my investments and stuff. So just being smarter with money and improving on money habits whenever and wherever you can. Like, I know not everyone's going to have the same goals, not everyone makes the same amount of money obviously, so depending on how much money you make and what your goals are, you can kind of customize this point accordingly. But working on your money habits is something I would advise anyone who's like younger than me, as a great tip, like an older sister basically, is to work on that for sure. Then moving on next, my next point would definitely be to realize that you have a certain amount of time every day that has to be carefully allocated to tasks that are useful and beneficial, of course. And like, of course, you're going to spend your 8-9 hours doing your job, but the remaining time that you have in the day has to be thoughtfully allocated to things that are going to improve your life in some way, shape or form, and try to make the most of those 24 hours by not like wasting any time. And I say that in the way that nowadays we're always on our phone and we're just scrolling. We spend so much time on Instagram, just scrolling and scrolling and scrolling, and I am guilty of this as well. I think it's not as bad as other people, but I think sometimes it's just like when you don't want to do anything, you just like take your phone in your hand and you start scrolling on Instagram. And it could like be an activity that you do 15 minutes and you just don't realize that I've been wasting the past 15 minutes basically doing nothing. Or it could be for hours and hours, or you might realize pretty quickly within the first couple of minutes. And I think as I've gotten better at it, I realize quicker that I am just wasting my time doing nothing. So instead of doing that, if you have nothing to do and like you're tired, just take a short nap. Just close your eyes and take a short nap, even if you're like sitting in one place, or even if you are like tired, and just go to bed. I mean, like, rest. Don't spend time and don't waste your time on time wasters, literally. Then moving on next, this is, how do I put it? So people like to talk when they want to deflect from themselves, when they don't want them to be the center of attention. They're going to start talking about you, and they are going to talk to you in a way where they're boasting about their life, trying to make themselves feel superior, because they don't actually feel that way, but they want you to think that everything is going perfectly in their lives and they are doing so amazing and so well, and that way they just make you feel lower about yourself. But don't let that get to you. I think this happens more often than not in workspaces, and I'm not talking about like toxic workplaces. I think in any workplace there are always going to be people like that. Essentially, even if your workplace is not a toxic place, I think there are still people that I mean, you'll spot such people very easily. They are always talking about themselves. They will never ask you about like yourself. They always just keep talking and talking and talking about themselves. And yeah, they'll try to pick you apart. They will try to make jokes about you to make themselves feel better. But I mean, it is what it is at the end of the day. So if they say something about you, they try to make jokes about you, just be like, yeah, this is who I am, like, what are you going to do about it? And then they will have nothing to shred you for. Essentially, I don't know how much of this I'm making sense with, but just be yourself at the end of the day. Like, don't let anyone put you down or talk down to you because you are not as cool as them. Be like, हाँ ठीक है, I'm not cool, so what? मतलब, this is who I am. And then they will literally not know what to say or what to do, and automatically उनकी बोलती बंद हो जाएगी. Okay, the next one is a little bit, just a teeny tiny bit connected to my previous point, but this is something I have been like talking to so many people about recently, and whenever it comes up, I just tell them, perception is not reality. And this is applicable in so many different contexts, but in this context, what I'm talking about is basically that when you see people just talking themselves up and being like, अच्छा मैंने ये किया, मैंने वो किया, it automatically gives you the illusion कि अरे ये person तो अपने life में कितना खुश है, and they they don't have any sorrows, they are just so happy and everything is going so perfectly for them, and automatically you start comparing yourself a little bit, like your life with their life, and you think कि अरे मेरे life में इतने problems है, मैं इतना दुखी हूँ, ये सामने वाले पर्सन की लाइफ में कोई प्रॉब्लम्स क्यों नहीं है, हाउ आर दे सो हैप्पी, वाई एंड हाउ इज़ देयर लाइफ गोइंग सो परफेक्टली, एंड वाई इज़ नॉट माई लाइफ लाइक दैट. मतलब ये सब थॉट्स हमारे माइंड में आते रहते हैं, and it is completely fine to feel those things and to think those things. And whenever you think like that, ये चीज़ याद कर लेना कि perception is not reality. Like, this is applicable, I think I've heard this quite often, specifically about social media, where people say that the way people's life looks like online is not how it actually is. No one's going to talk about their the bad things that they are going through, because we all want to show कि हम कितने खुश हैं अपने life में, and that is like, that's why other people perceive कि इनकी life में तो सब सही चल रहा है, but that is not actually how reality is. No one talks about it, but सबके life में कोई ना कोई दुख है. So इसीलिए it is just best to not like focus on your own self instead of how you perceive other people's life to be. And at the same time, another thing that these points are all correlated to each other. That's just what I would like to say. So my next point would be, if you see like a friend or someone who is making a mistake, if there may be like तुमको थर्ड पर्सन की सच्चाई दिख रही है कि दिस इज़ नॉट अ गुड पर्सन, या फिर इस इंसान से मेरे दोस्त को दूर रहना चाहिए, और तुमने उसको वॉर्न कर दिया है, ठीक है, मतलब इफ़ यू आर क्लोज टू दैट पर्सन तो हाँ उनको वॉर्न करो, अपने दोस्त को ऐसे कुएं में कूदने मत दो. बट अगर तुमने उनको वॉर्न करने के बाद भी वो खुद अपनी मर्जी से कुएं में कूदना चाहे, तो यू कैन नॉट सेव देम. You cannot be someone else's life jacket. You cannot save them. Let them realize सामने वाले की सच्चाई on their own time. भगवान उनको दिखा देगा. Trust that. And okay, so we're doing another chore. We're going to wash some brushes. I have my makeup brushes right here, and I'm going to kind of wash them one by one as I talk to you. I hope that this is not too noisy, and otherwise we'll just work it out. But moving on to the next lesson that I've learned is to draw lines in my relationships and have boundaries with people. I'm just using like a regular hand wash to wash my brushes. I don't use any fancy soap or anything. But anyways, coming back to the lessons, because that's what we're talking about. This is not a beauty video. You need to draw certain boundaries in your relationships in terms of people should know that it's not always like take. They also have to give and know that like you have to show people how much they matter to you. And similarly, people who are in your life, like your friends, your relationships, your family members, they have to also be in it. It can't always be just you, like making the first move and always initiating everything and then being walked all over. If that is the situation that you are in, then you have to draw a line. You have to tell the person that, you know what, this is not going to work out like this. I cannot always give my 200% and compensate for you not like being in it at all. So if that's the case with you and a certain relationship in your life, then draw the line, or else just cut the person out depending on how they take it. Essentially, like when you confront them, if they don't see it, then you're gonna have to cut them off probably. Okay, the next one, as we're gonna wash some more makeup brushes, this one is related to decisions. We all have to make decisions in our life, and when you make those decisions, do it on your own essentially and think through those decisions very well, keeping in mind that you are the one who's going to have to live with the consequences of those decisions. So when it is like between choosing कि अच्छा कुएं में कूदूं या खाई में कूदूं, ये सोचो कि तुम कुआं easily पार कर पाओगे like तैर के या फिर खाई. Which one do you think you will be able to live with the consequences of? Like if it doesn't work out, would you be okay with it? And yeah, essentially like decide based on that. And the next point, which is again related to this one, is that if it doesn't work out in the end, like I think in most cases it always does, because I truly believe that whatever happens for the best. So I think every decision eventually does, work out for the best. But if God forbid it doesn't work out for you, you cannot blame it on anyone else. The problem with making decisions based on what other people say is that you then end up blaming them, hating them for the consequences of those decisions. But it's like, no, you can't blame anyone else, because it's your decision to make. If you listen to someone else, well, then it's on you. And if you are making the decision on your own, again, it's on you, because whatever happens, you have to deal with it. And there is also almost something empowering about that, because you are responsible for the consequences of your decision. So whatever happens, you cannot blame it on anyone else, and just trust and believe that whatever happens for the best. So it's going to work out in the end, and it's not the end of the world. Very very important, जो भी होता है, अगर कुछ बुरा भी होता है तो भी, it's not the end of your life. So remember that too. Hey guys, we're in a new setup again, and I was basically doing like a try on birthday kind of outfit, and like seeing what my makeup is going to look like with my potential birthday outfit. Clearly the day you're going to watch this is my birthday, so you will get to know if this ends up making the cut or not, like this entire look. But anyways, that's not the point of this video. I feel like I keep deviating sometimes in the middle. So we're going to talk about the next couple of points while I organize and select the stuff that's going to be packed in my makeup bag for the trip that I'm going to be on during my birthday. And we're going to talk about some of the next couple of points as we do that. It's going to be super casual, and let me know if you like this setup. While I was setting my camera, I was thinking if this could be a potential like backdrop for my regular filming videos. So let me know what you think about the setup and this lighting and all of that good stuff. But let's move on to some of the next couple of lessons. So I think we're at number 17 or something right now, and my number 17 point is going to be figure out what you actually like. I'm not talking about what your fantasy self wants to be like, but figure out what you actually like and stick to that. So like something I was thinking about literally this morning was how I used to love heels, but I think since I like grew up, like basically post my teenage years, I have just been gravitating less and less to heels and more to comfortable footwear. So even though my fantasy self would love to wear like 6-inch Steve Madden expensive heels, I actually never want to wear them in my usual life. I would much rather prefer not flats, but like maybe a platform or a wedge, or just sneakers or sport shoes, to be honest. Like so many times I just prefer sport shoes, and they're so much more comfortable, and I feel like they even go with my outfits. So coming back to the point, figure out what you actually like and wear what you like. Life is too short to force yourself to fit into a certain kind of box and become something that you are actually not comfortable being. So that's our point number 17. Moving to point number 18, I feel like as I'm saying all these things, I'm not actually doing what I'm supposed to do. So I'll move on to that and talk to you while I do it. So yes, point number 18 is going to be to nurture your hobbies. Now once you grow up, like once you get into a job and you don't you don't take out time to actually do your hobbies. Like you wake up, you get ready, go to work, and then once you're back from work, you don't actually spend a lot of time in pursuing hobbies. You just kind of waste, I want to say, the rest of your days and the rest of your time. At least that was what I was doing for the longest time, and that's why I feel so confident saying these things. So yes, nurture your hobbies and try to make time for them whenever you possibly can. Like something I started doing earlier this year was I used to go to dance class in the evenings once I came back from work, because that is something I wanted to do for the longest time, but I never actually bit the bullet, looked up a dance class, went there for like a trial and actually enrolled for it. So that's something I did this year in 2024 that I'm very, very happy about. And yes, I'm not continuing to do that, but I am trying to make time as much as possible for my hobbies. Like even reading is a big one which I'm currently actively focusing on. I had a reading goal this year, and yes, I have slacked a little bit on it, but I still have 4 months to kind of get back in and complete my reading goal for 2024. So yes, make time for your hobbies and nurture your hobbies. Very, very, very important. Moving on next to point number 19. Is it? Yes. Okay, this is one that I feel like I learned last year majorly a lot around this time, and that is to love your job. And if you don't love your job, then don't stick in a job that you won't love. I had a lot of thoughts that switching into a different company would help me in furthering my career and becoming more versatile. Like my CV would look really great because I had a lot of great experience in a lot of different areas, and I would grow as a person, as a professional in my career. But what I ended up realizing was that I was so miserable and so unhappy in that job, and I quit because I was like, I cannot live my life like this, hating my job and hating my life every single day. Your job is a big part of your life. You spend about 1/3 of your day sleeping, and then 1/3 of your day at your workplace. So if you don't love your work, and if you don't love the workplace you're in because of XYZ reason, it could be the commute, it could be the work environment over there, it could be your boss or your manager or the company culture, it could be so many different things. But if you don't love your job, quit. And if you are stuck in a job that you're not happy with and you're watching this video and you want to quit, I hope this is your sign and you will quit. And trust me, it's going to be fine. You're going to find a job that you love elsewhere and a place that you would love going to every single day, and you look forward to your work every single day. Okay, I'm really not able to multitask, let's be very honest, but let's move to our point number 20. Okay, it's very short and very sweet. Don't get into a relationship just because everyone else is. This is something I did a lot, not a lot I would say, but actually I didn't. If I think about it, this is something that I'm telling you out of my own personal life that I didn't do, and I'm really happy that I stuck to not doing it once again, because if I had, I think I would be way more miserable and I would have way more exes. Let's just say that. So I felt the pressure to be in a relationship just because my friends were, but I'm glad that I actually did end up doing that, and I didn't get into a relationship very young, like in my teenage years, just because. Okay, the next ones I'm filming as I work out on a completely different day actually, but we still have some more points to cover. So point number 21 is going to be, after a breakup, always take time and analyze what went wrong and work on yourself before you step into the next relationship. I have seen so many people have rebounds, and not just one or two, but like it just keeps going. Like they just can't be single in life for some reason, and I feel like these are the people who need to do the most work on themselves. I mean, we all have work to do on ourselves, but not taking time to analyze what went wrong in a relationship can just be like a ripple effect, and it just does not stop. Then for point number 22, what I have is, this is something I always tell myself when things are not going in my favor or the way I want it to. What's meant for you will never miss you. Even if you deviate from your original path, whatever is meant for you, it could be a job, it could be a person, a relationship, a friendship, anything, it will come find you. I promise. And I have had this happen quite a few times, I would say, in the past 25 years. So I can confidently say this. Then for point number 23, learn to be like on your own. Like, you don't always have to be around friends or family or around your partner. Some people, they just can't be alone physically. I think it just gnaws on them for some reason. But we should all be able to be with ourselves, spend time with ourselves, work on ourselves. And when you're alone, it also gives you a lot of time for self reflections and self learning, which you cannot really do if you are around people. Because if you're around people, you kind of want to spend your time with them and not be like in your own bubble or in your own world. So always take time out for yourself at the end of the day, just a couple of minutes, if like not more, but always make sure that you take time for yourself. Point number 24, this is about overconsumption, and I feel a certain way about this because I definitely feel like I have been a part of this too. Like, consuming too much materialistic things has been a it's been a problem for me too, something that I had to work on. But I've just realized how much it's so much clutter and so much unnecessary stuff in your life. I feel like so many of the things that I own, I don't even use every single day, and I am consciously making an effort to declutter things, throw away. Hey guys, I was about to like finish my workout, but then I just felt like a pull in my right thigh, I want to say, which is why I stopped in the middle. I was almost about to be done. So yes, I'm going to probably pause for today. I think the reason of this pull is because I kept stopping in the middle of filming, like to check on the camera, or like if I got a call in my phone, I had to stop recording. So that is why I kept stopping. Usually I don't stop otherwise. Like, I take like 5-second breaks, but not like this. So anyway, speaking about what I was speaking about earlier, like, since we just have a couple of points left, I just thought, let me sit here while I cool down, and like, of course, before I jump into the shower. So we were talking about like overconsumption and how I feel like that is that's just unnecessary clutter. Like, there is so much stuff in my house that I don't use, and because I don't use those things, they are just sitting around collecting dust. You have to constantly clean them, you have to like dust them, store them, arrange them, and go over all that stuff like consecutively over the period of years. But so many of those things I don't actually use on a day-to-day basis. So I have been watching a lot of content myself personally from other people, like decluttering, minimalism, all of those things, and that way I just want to eliminate unnecessary clutter from my life. So this is a big lesson that I have learned specifically this year, very recently, and I wanted to share that with you. For our point number 25, this was supposed to be the last one, but it's actually the second last one. So yeah, I have a bonus point which I'll talk about towards the end. But for our point number 25, another recent lesson I've learned is that the people who you have in your life are not forever. You might think they are, but there are just times when you grow apart, you are not on the same wavelength anymore. You can grow, and you can grow together, or sometimes you just grow apart. We grow in different directions sometimes, and then at a certain point it's like you are so different from that person, and so much doesn't align in your life at a certain point of time that there is no meaning to holding on to a bond that you might have had for 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, however long it might be. But if you grow apart, at the end of the day, you guys have nothing in common anymore, and it's like, what is this relationship even for? Like, sometimes you just question, like, why am I in a relationship with this person? I'm not talking about like a relationship like two people who love each other, like a romantic relationship. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about in general any relationship. I feel like it can apply to romantic relationships, it can apply to friendships, it can sometimes even apply to like family. Like, I know it's a very controversial topic, and some people might say like you cannot break family relations, like you'll always be blood, which I get. But sometimes there is just no point of that blood relation, because that's the only thing that keeps you guys together. Like, there is nothing else in that relationship that is keeping you guys together. So it doesn't matter what kind of a relationship it is, but if two people are growing apart, and so apart that they have nothing in common anymore, then that's a very clear sign that you guys have grown apart, and it's okay to cut off such ties. That's just my personal stance on it, and again, you can feel differently. I'm just telling you the things that I have learned. Now, the last thing, and this is something, it's actually a quote that I heard someone say. I want to say it's one of the newer YouTubers which I started following, but to be very honest, I don't remember, because I've been watching so much content these days revolving around these things that I cannot tell you who said this. But I'm going to quote the person who said it, and I'm going to read it out to you. The things you own today were once money in the bank. Let me just say it again if you didn't hear me the first time. The things you own today were once money in the bank. And think about that long and hard. When I heard it, I was like taken aback, to be honest. And I kept replaying it in my head the entire day. And I kept thinking about all the things that I have in my life which I don't use, but I spent actual money on those things, buying those things. And if I do a sum total of all the amount that I spent, all the money that I spent on those things which I don't even use today, which was once money in the bank or money in my bank account, I cannot even tell you how much money I have wasted till date. But that's something that I want to change going forward. Going forward, I want to be really particular about what I spend my money on, how much money I spend on it, is it worth it, and is it something that I'm going to actually get my return on investment on via the number of uses or whatever it might be. But it's something I'm going to be very, very critical about going forward. And because it was so monumental to me, even though it was point number 26 and technically this video is 25 things that I've learned in these past 25 years, I still wanted to throw that extra bonus for you and share that with you. And something apart from these 25 lessons or 26 lessons rather, I would say, is why did I show myself working out towards the end of the video? Because recently I've also realized the importance of working out. And please know, I've spoken about this a couple of times, but in case you didn't know, I'm not someone who enjoys working out, but recently I have realized how crucially important working out is for my health. And that is also something I've learned. So technically it's point number 27. And that is why I wanted to incorporate that in this video while actually doing it, while actually working out today. I wanted to include that in the video. So even though the angle was not great and someone's going to tell me, oh, we can't even see your face, it's not a perfect angle and this, that, etc, etc, I don't care about that, because A, I do not have the setup where I can show you me fully working out, and B, I don't care if it was not the perfect angle. This is not a workout video, so I don't care. I'm going to actually link the video that I follow where I saw this workout routine. It's on YouTube, it's online, so that's the routine video that I follow. And in case you want to see the actual video, go watch that. Don't watch me working out. That portion was just for you to listen, and of course to see me working out, in the sense that you know that I know the importance of working out, and it's something that's also very important and very crucial in my current lifestyle. So yes, that is all the 26 lessons which I wanted to talk about, and I hope that you enjoyed the video. I know it was all over the place, I was doing so many different things, but I really wanted to make the video like this because A, I thought it would be fun, and B, it was like a different style for me, so I wanted to experiment with that. And let me know how you found it overall. And yes, there is one clip which I found while editing, the previous one before me working out, where the audio and the video is not in sync basically, so I'm really sorry about that. It's not the editing that got messed up, it's the actual file that is messed up for some reason, in my phone itself. So there's nothing I can do about it. I could have refilmed it, but I really can't do it all over again, and I want to keep it authentic as well. So yeah, anyway, that's that. I gotta go now, shower and get ready for a day of filming ahead. So yes, that is that. I know the video is quite long, but I tried my best, but then the outro ended up being longer. So yes, I'm sorry about that. That's also a part of who I am. So yeah, anyway, let me know your thoughts down below, and until then, bye bye.